Oh my Lord. Can you believe I'm actually back? As you can see, things have changed. I wear glasses now. I definitely got my health into a better shape. Of course, I was always talking about that because people couldn't, would go off topic talking about, my weight and stuff. And I said, hey, I'll take care of my weight when it's time to take care of it. Right now, I'm more focused on Cisco, right? So, but, it shows you that, you know, um, how things can be and how things can change. Just like that. Which hasn't really been just like that. I isolated myself from social media and YouTube and all that stuff for a reason. And took some time off for health reasons, and now I'm back. So, um, and what can I say? Except, Buddha, Kyle Martin, whatever you want to call me, is coming back to YouTube. And it's going to be the exact same channel as it was before. Nothing different. Um, Going through all my video archives, I mean, guys, it was over 2,000 videos. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, I was just a producing machine, but it also shows you the focus that I had. 2 years to get a CCIE was not my intent, was not my purpose. My purpose was to master the technology. I did not take my CCE. I started in 2009, CCNA. Got that in a couple months. And a lot of you know this story. I'm just, this is the first video I've done in a long time. I got to get the rust out and get all that things, getting back to the groove and improve to the way I was. Right when I was starting to get a lot of exposure to the point that I couldn't even go into a job interview without someone recognizing me by name. That's when I decided to shut it all down. Because I mean, regardless of who you are, regardless, you can be the nicest guy on the planet, which I like to believe I like to believe I am, but at the same time, that belief means nothing. Okay, because selfish people and you can call it jealousy, whatever you want. Vindictive people are vindictive. All right, and they don't care. All right. One thing that I have noticed about me ever since I can remember, anything that I learn, I love to educate others. Okay, and it's always one thing. Even when I was an electrician, that was back in the guys. That was back in the 80s, I believe. Um, Let me think about that. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna calculate it right now. Not the 80s, the beginning 90s. Okay, when I was an electrician, I was driving from Annapolis, Maryland to Virginia. If you don't know what that means about an hour and a half drive every day, making $5.50 an hour. All I know is, and you also got to say this part about me. I have always been that type of person that has always gone after the jobs I wanted, not just fall into them. So I've always wanted to be an electrician. That was like my big thing back then. So when I actually found, and of course you can't become an electrician, even a helper without some type of experience. And next thing you know, I found one company that was hiring outside the union, in fact, uh, putting an ad in the newspaper because they had this big project in Virginia. It was a school actually, and they could not get enough people, so they were hiring helpers, no experience, and I hopped on that so fast. But one of the things that I was taught that never did I follow, took or put in part, made a part of my DNA or not or anything. You know, whenever I would ask questions, they mechanics will purposely, if you don't know what a mechanic is someone who is gone from a helper to an actual real electrician or gotten that status, and now the mechanics. Okay, so mechanics will always have helpers, and those helpers are just people who just, gophers and clean up and do what they're told, right? And at the same time, they're supposed to be helping the helpers become knowledgeable and learn things from over a period of time. And there's only one person that ever did that for me, and it was a lesson learned, because that lesson was, why should I fear my job by not teaching anybody else anything else, especially someone who wants to learn, because I'm afraid that they'll take my job? Okay, that should tell you right there's a problem, okay, because you're afraid someone's going to take your job. Well, if you did your job good enough, it wouldn't matter who the hell and what you taught someone. You could teach someone everything that's in your mind that you've ever learned over a 20-year period. If they take your job, okay, if you have a skill set that is needed, finding another job will never be a problem, okay? And you can go to the next job doing the exact same thing, teaching other people everything you know, all right? Never have I ever feared losing my job because I decided to take the time to educate someone. All right, those who know me from my old channel, you know that. You know that about me. Those who just getting to know me, if you have the mentality, especially in the networking field, seriously, or IT period, if you believe that you should never teach anybody else because you're afraid of losing your job, one problem that you have, you're just not skilled enough. All right? Whose responsibility is it to increase your skill? Yours. When you're on the street, right, people will say, it ain't their fault, it's your fault. Okay? And you go back and you look at the streets and you sit there and say, man, for real? Their life is hard because they make it hard. All right? They go out and they steal something, and it's not their fault for stealing it. Their presence of the stealing, okay? And I don't care if they create a scenario where people are fighting or people get hurt. Doesn't matter. Their interaction is not their fault and their mindset. It's your fault for allowing it to happen. Guys, that's the most ridiculous thing on the planet. All right? And one of the things that I'm going to say today that I'm never going to change until the day I die is take responsibility for what you have done, what you have not done, who you are, who you want to be. For God's sakes. All right? Still today, I know people that still have no certifications because they can't find a company to pay for it. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? All right? I waited 1 year for someone to pay for my education, okay? And during that time, I was studying for my education. All right? So technically, I didn't wait at all. All right? I was hoping to get someone to pay for the CCNA stuff because that was expensive, and I couldn't find it. And by the time I got to the point where it was, I was about to take that leap of saying I'm ready, okay? I was just like, forget it, I'm not relying on anybody except myself, and that's it. The library of books that I got is amazing, and I even lost half my books because I ended up moving half the books to where I was living. I ended up getting evicted, but still, they can be obtained. Not to mention the fact, I can't even tell you how many virtual books I got. Holy, matter of fact, you know what? Just give me a second. Let's see if I got it. Let's go here. Come on, come on, come on. Here we go. Okay. You know what? Let's just do the Cisco books. Okay, that says 65. All right. And it's funny because some of the books I have on, physically have, okay, like Cisco Press books, I have virtually too. Like my favorite one, Jeff Doyle, and of course we all know that, routing TCP/IP. Or is that what I have? No, you know what I have? Let's actually take a look at this. Routing and Switching version 5.0. This is the one from Narby. See, I have that physical book, but I also have it on PDF. All right, so let's go back and let me show you all the books I got. Oh, I see what I did. I see what I did. I didn't put them all in one folder, so let's go ahead. Come on now, I need to know the files. Oh, here we go. 357 files, physical, virtual books. I could spend years reading those books. All right, every book that I've gotten, I've used it to the point of getting me to a certain level that I want to get to. All right, and let's go back in time, okay? CCNA days, my first videos, right? You can go back to those videos and you can look, and it would be funny as hell because you know how serious, which this channel is going to be no different. It's going to be just as serious. I have zero tolerance, okay, for getting off topic, for insults to other people that have made comments, okay. I don't go through and I don't delete things, but I will say something, okay. Zero tolerance, okay. You're not here to come to my channel to be entertained, even though you are entertained, which is great, okay. All right, you're here to learn, all right. And when I watch a video, still, I can't find a channel that keeps me interested, all right. Now, I tell you what, though, I'm not gonna lie, Cisco videos, like when they have the Cisco training or Cisco like introduction videos, still, man, I'm sorry, but those are still number one. All right, I watched one on SD-WAN, and what's funny is I'm looking at my whiteboard because these are the things I learned. All right, I learned that the Cisco SD-WAN was Ventela. All right, I learned vSmart, vBond, vManage. And now I didn't learn about overlay or underlay. However, I did put that up there because of OPM, the overlay management protocol, and TLOC, all right, and direct internet access. Guys, this is something I just wrote on the whiteboard as I'm going through a video. This guy is not using whiteboards, okay? He is using like PowerPoint stuff, okay, but he's not even focused on it. He's just freestyle, randomly talking about the technology. All right. When I'm watching a video and put it like this, and a 15-second interim, all right. If I'm not paying attention and I'm missing something, that's probably a video you're going to want to watch. If you're watching 2, 3, 4 minutes go by and that person is just telling a story, and you're not learning anything, and then he just goes from story to story to story to story, and you look back and say, you know what? I looked at this whole course, it was about 30 hours, and what did I really get out of it? Okay? So, as usual, I don't write anything down, I just freestyle it, and this is what we're going to talk about right now. We're going to talk about what is important throughout your studies. Of course, now, it's been a long time. We get to rebuild this channel. We're going to start off with the basics, as always, okay? Because nothing I can't stand more is going online, right? Because I saw SD-WAN video, okay? I can't stand it because I want to learn more about SD-WAN, and all I see are about how to set up SD-WAN on GNS3 or Eve or, something like that. And I swear to God, I learned nothing. Even one of the videos, I shut it off before I even got even farther because the person was just like, all right, so we're going to start off with SD-WAN already working. What? I mean, you're literally promoting your video as Learn From Scratch, and you want to show me already working. I don't get it. Or if I want to learn about SD-WAN, I don't want to spend hours knowing how to set it up on GNS3. I want to just learn the technology. And Cisco, that's what I love about their seminars, man. They're great. So what's important to me as a person getting started? Some of the ones who have watched me from the beginning, they're probably going to get tired of these videos from the beginning, but that's, this is not for those individuals, but there are going to be videos where those individuals will come back to say, oh, okay, now Kyle's getting into the good stuff. It is what it is. It's been a long time since I've been around, and I have to rebuild. And I have no problem rebuilding, and I can put out a lot of content. Now, my voice is not going to be clear. I'm using the microphone on a webcam that is old, Logitech. Windows 10 doesn't even have drivers for it. I could not get it to work. I had to install Logitech software and Logitech drivers separately to get this to work. When I use Camtasia to record, the voice and the synchronization was all off, and then all of a sudden, like for 5 seconds, the sound worked, and then nothing. It recorded nothing because it couldn't keep up. So I tried looking for a microphone. I found one, but it was actually a wire plug-in, and my laptop doesn't have that. I don't have a USB microphone. So things are going to get better because once I found work, again, which I am looking, once I find work, I'll have the funds to actually fix those issues and get back to a nice microphone like I used to have. So, number one, reading. Yeah, I know you hate to read. Yeah, I know you can't read. 2009, I couldn't read. I'm a 35-year-old man back then, and I could not read. I'm 50 years old, by the way. I just turned 50 this year. And I couldn't read. I couldn't even, my daughter, even when she was young, and I'd say about 6 years old, when I would read books to her, children's books, she would always ask me why was I stuttering? Why was I always pausing? And I was like, and I just flat out told her, it's like, because I can't read for shit. And that was the truth. I just couldn't read. All right. But when I got to the CCNP level, because remember I got my CCNA in 2 months, 2.5 months. When I went to the CCNP, man, I had to go back to CCNA stuff and relearn. There was no way for me to go further, okay, without going back to technology that I already learned, I thought I knew, and I didn't, okay? Most people will never do that. They would just say, I'm not going back to that, all right? And I know this from experience because I've had physically long arguments when I would go back and try to reteach what we learned the day before as an overview, okay? They're like, I already know that. Look, man, I can, come on. And anybody who's been doing this for a while knows, I can sit there and I can configure OSPF 100 times, all right? Let it go for a month and forget, just like that, all right? Now, 1,000 times, totally different thing, all right? So, reading, this is what's going to happen because it happened to me, all right? Every morning, I would get up and go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, right? I know too much information. And I would try to read, and I could barely get past a paragraph without being irritated or impatient or like, I hate this. All right, not to mention the fact I wouldn't comprehend one thing that I would read in that paragraph. Okay, but I still did it every day. Remember what I told you the definition of determination. It's doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't want to. That is definition of discipline. Okay, especially when you don't want to. And I did it every day. And it's funny because I'm reading for 5 minutes and I'm done. I'm finished. Next thing you know, a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. Everything, remember what I said, success equals time plus sacrifice. And that time means something. It's there for a reason. Okay, sacrifice is there for a reason too, but the time is the number one key. Over a period of time, okay, every failure you have, that failure becomes less and less and less and less over a period of time. Next thing you know, you're succeeding, because at one point, I'm reading a paragraph, then a paragraph and two sentences. And next thing you know, I'm actually rereading the paragraph, realizing when I reread, okay, I can read a lot faster and a lot easier, and then I can comprehend what I'm reading because it's already the first paragraph and first reading of that paragraph. My brain I'm not liking it. So, but when it's already in the subconscious and I go back to read it again, it's a lot easier. And now I'm kind of happy. I'm actually feeling better about myself, right? Okay, you can call it a trick, you can call it whatever you want. However, every day got better and better. All right, and it took at least a month of doing this every day before, okay, I was reading a whole page at a time. Okay, it's an everyday thing. The problem is we have this expectation of getting it like that. Okay, and if we can exchange that thought process, we can realize that we cannot be able to do those things without it being over a period of time. All right? Now, here's the thing. I'm 50 years old. Okay? I've had problems. Remember that time, for the people who've been watching me, that time that I told you I juiced for 30 days, and the issues that I had for over a 5-year period were gone, right? Okay, it took 30 days for that to happen, of juicing every day, no solid food. And let me tell you guys, when you get close to that 30 days, every day gets harder and harder and harder and harder. Okay, and I'm going to do it again, and I guarantee you probably, I won't need glasses anymore, because I'm telling you, my eyesight was amazing when I get close to that 30 days. All right, remember when I told you I was diabetic, all right, and I was going to reverse it. Well, I did that too. All right, I'm still not 100% because I'm pre-diabetic now, but I'm no longer diabetic. I don't need insulin, none of that stuff. That was my goal. Even after people told me, including doctors telling me I couldn't reverse it, right? Bullshit. I knew better. It's called research. It's called understanding what you got, all right? And understand why you got it, especially with that A1C test, right? So when I was in the 9s, well, technically I was at 6.5, now I'm at 7. So I need to start working the way back down, right? A little bit more to get me back over to the 6s. But this was my vision, my control. All right. So with the reading, I'm sorry, I had a point. The point is, imagine how long I had diabetes and never knew it. And remember that year that I kept going to doctors, I spent over $2,000 just in copays. Just to copay alone. All right. Just trying to find out what was wrong with me. Why? And we're talking about serious stuff, guys. We're talking about no matter what I ate, no matter what, I would fall asleep while driving, fall asleep at work. It was uncontrollable. I was having sugar comas. And I kept going to the doctors. And all they did was check my vitals and everything was good. yeah, I was getting mad. I was getting pissed because you're not doing what I'm asking you to do. And then I just randomly ended up going to the hospital one day, and guy was like, hey, well, only concern I had was your sugar was a little high. When I went home, I found out what the normal sugar levels were, which was about 100, 120, and mine was 400. And then I sat back and looked back and said, what kind of idiots are these doctors? Who are they? A little high? This is crazy. My ass would go to sleep one day and never wake up from these levels. All right. And that's how I found out I was diabetic. All right. So think about how long it takes your body to become diseased or become unfunctional. Guys, it takes decades. Okay. Now, if that's the case, how are you going to heal it like that? It takes years. Okay. How do I lose my weight? Biking twice a day, an hour in the morning and an hour at night. Okay, period. Before work and after work. All right. How many times did I buy exercise equipment and couldn't use it? It was uncomfortable. It was hurting. It was causing pain. Okay. Until I finally found a method where I can exercise and enjoy it. It was called a recumbent trike. Okay. Took me a year. Every day. I started off with this 1 hour in the morning, and I started doing it twice. And I'm telling you, it took me, I don't know, months before I could get to the point where I could do it twice. Right? And next thing you know, I went from 330 pounds when I was creating those videos back then. That's how much I was weighing. All right? I got down to 235. Right? But it took a whole year to lose that weight. And let me tell you, my body so badly wants to go back to that 300 pounds, even today. Okay? All right? Even today. So, it's one of those things where it's a period of time. That time is extremely important. Okay? So read every day, and it'll get better and better and better. Now, number one, progress is never seen while the progress is being done. 2 reasons. 1, progress is so tiny, so small on a daily, weekly basis, or monthly basis. You don't see it. You don't feel it. Okay? The only way to do so is what I did, which recording from the very beginning I started as a CCNA and looking at it when I was a CCNP. Okay? And I mean, after I passed my CCNP, the difference of configurations, the difference of me knowing, of finding the problem without sitting there waiting, to try 15 minutes of the video trying to find out what the problem is. Okay, it's astronomical. Never, ever did I feel it or see it until I started watching those videos, going back and looking at the previous ones. And we're talking about over a 2-year span, guys. Okay, you never feel it. But the gradual process is there. You just never see it. So you don't think nothing's different. You just think, this shit ain't gonna work and I'm not smart enough. All right? If you document it, you'll understand. All right? No one's telling you to do what I did, though. All right? But believe me, this is not telling you what you need to do and what to believe. This is putting it in your subconscious that maybe one day you'll say, oh my God, Kyle was right. And if he didn't mention it, I would never recognize it for myself, because another reason is we only focus on the negative instead of focusing on the positive. We always worry about what we don't have instead of worrying about what we have. All right? And when I hear people complain, it's like, you know what? Your life really is not bad. Okay? You could be like this other person I know who is like completely, his life is screwed up. Okay? And none of it is from his doing, except the fact that he keeps interacting with the same people, which makes it his doing. Right? So your life really isn't that bad. It really isn't. But that person will never see it, because from their perspective, their life is the worst. All right. Now, second, video training. Guys, video training is the crucial studying. And while reading is necessary is because the things you read in books, especially a well-flowing book reading, it's astronomical. The way routing TCP/IP explains how ICMP works, the way it's written is just like, wow, that's amazing. I never knew that. Traceroute. Sorry, I was talking about traceroute. I never knew that. I was like, that's amazing. And I've never forgotten it. There's a book called Network Optimization. Guys, I can't read that book for shit. I just can't. The way it's formatted, the way it flows, it just like, dude, I can't do this. Forget this book, right? And I really wanted to read that book because I really wanted to get to that level. And also, you got to understand too, guys, I wanted to master the material, all right? Anybody who's watched my previous channels knew how hard I was working, all right? They knew it. I was extremely positive, always, but I still am, right? I tell you, I'm the nicest guy on the planet, even though people saw me as some kind of arrogant jerk, all right? They saw me as an arrogant jerk because I took it seriously. And that's what usually happens. When you take something seriously, people confuse your confidence with arrogance, okay? Because they don't have it. They're not confident in anything. So when they see someone else is confident, they're like, oh, he's just a Mr. Know-it-all. Okay? Doesn't matter how many times you say, I don't know. All right? My classes, I was running free classes on Saturday and Sundays. And it took a 15-year CCIE in the field to set me straight and say, Kyle, I've been in the field 15 years. I'm coming to watch your channel because you keep showing me shit that I didn't know a router switch can do. Stop doubting yourself. And boy, he was right. Because the doubt, boy, is hard and it is high and it is heavy. Okay? 6 years. All right? I'm looking at my plaque, by the way. 2016 when I got it. All right? I started in 2009. I had a 10-year plan. All right? So 10,000 and let's do the math. Yeah, for those who used to watch me, you knew my math was awesome, but, you know, things have changed. Are you serious? Okay, so 7 years, right? I had a 10-year plan, right? And there's only one thing, which we're going to fix that soon. One thing that I had never done. I never got the car that I wanted, my dream car. All right? And someone has put me on track on that as well because if that was my motivation, why when I was able to do so, I decided not to. And I made a video about that for a while ago, talking about, hey, now that I can buy the Corvette, I don't have the urge to have one. But, it's a statement, okay, just like having my number tattooed on my chest because it's the hardest thing I've ever accomplished in my life, all right? Oh, and by the way, I'm actually going for my second CCIE, CCIE security, right? I've already printed out the blueprint. Yes, I'm going to have live equipment. No, I'm not into the virtual thing. Okay, as far as full scale, we know why. All right, I do virtual labs for mini labs or side labs. Like when you're learning something and you read something or learn something, you're like, oh wow, let me say that real quick. All right, real studying, real equipment. All right, we'll get back to that in a second. So the video training is extremely important with the reading. Okay. The reading, especially with a good book, it's going to stick with you, especially when you improve your reading, because the comprehension in your subconscious, you don't lose it. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to work, right? And the thing that I just read that morning, and I kid you not, is actually something that popped in my head saying, wait a minute, I think I was reading about this issue just today. The best, though, is when you recall something that you read 10 years ago. Guys, that's no joke. All right, I can't tell you how the power of reading truly is. Okay, and from a CCNA perspective, no reading, all video training. CCNP, I couldn't do it. Either I was going to learn how to read, or I was going to learn how to fail. Okay, don't get me wrong. Failing is something that you're going to have across the board. I don't care how long a period. All right, it takes 1,000 failures to succeed. Why do you think we get so excited when we succeed? Because of all the times we failed. All right, and think about Edison. Dude, you've done it 10,000 times. It ain't gonna work. No, I found out 10,000 ways of how not to do it. Okay, that's an optimism. That's an optimist. You know, that optimism that sucker had, off the chart. All right. Yeah, I don't care. He stole the idea. We're not debating that. The thing is to have that type of attitude. I've never met anybody in my life like that until I started doing the Cisco stuff, because the failure of what you're going through, especially with your CCNA, you got to learn how to deal with failure. And we're going to talk about that on my channel again, and I'm going to change your perspective of failure and teach you how failure is necessary. All right? You can't have one without the other. One can't exist without the other, and you must go through the opposite to get to what you're trying to get to. You must walk through the path of hell to get to heaven. Always. You cannot have one without the other. All right? Now, video training. Just trust me out. My YouTube, my Udemy course is still out there. Okay, and I went through it the other day because it's been over. I don't know, like a couple of years before I even logged into the thing. And I just happened to go through there. Do you realize that which I kind of knew, 90% of people who have bought my course, which is thousands of people, hasn't even watched 10% of my material. Everybody wants to be a network engineer, but nobody wants to put the work in. All right? It's not easy. It takes years. All right? Let me tell you this. I have redid my CCNA course 3 times from scratch. Okay? And that's a lot of work, guys, going through and redoing the OneNote and going through and doing it. Guys, it's 70 hours. I want you to picture this, 70 hours of training, okay, going through theory, proving the theory, and telling you how to configure it. And that's no time from you being on the keyboard yourself. That's just lectures, man. That is what a CCNA is. Okay, and you think you're going to do it within weeks? Or like they say, do the CCNA from 0 to hero in 30 days. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Guys, I can't even tell you the hours, man. It was 8 hours of work, 8 hours of study, and I even literally, just to get 18 hours a day out of my day, took my sleep habits, and it took me 2 months at least to shave off 15 minutes from the time I go to bed, all right, going to bed earlier and getting up earlier until I shaved it down to 6 hours a day. That's all I slept every day, 6 hours on the money. I went to bed every day, 8 o'clock, and got up at 2 o'clock in the morning every day. By the time it was time to go to work, oh my God, stuff that I had done. I got all my studying out right then and there and still came home and did more. 8 hours of studying, 8 hours of work, and oh my God, Saturday and Sundays, 12 to 15 hours, especially when I was running my free classes, right? Now, and I passed in 2.5 months and still had to go back. If you think networking, you're getting paid the money that you're getting just because you got some certification, you're gonna be weeded out fast. And even if you're not, let's say you're not. Let's say you lied your way through your career. One way or another, someone is going to get hired on your team that's going to expose you, expose your lack of knowledge, okay? And that person's not doing it on purpose. The person is doing it because he knows and he's trying to help, but that's not how you're going to take it. You're going to feel threatened. You're going to feel threatened because remember what I said before about, fearing someone taking your job? You're threatened because you didn't take it seriously. Period. All right? This is what I know. And it doesn't really matter what your perception is. Okay? That whole concept of perception is reality. Guys, that's some bull crap bullshit that, like I said, I stole your shit, but I stole it because you allowed it. It's your fault, not mine. Really? How about the fact that if you weren't a thief, I wouldn't have that problem anyway, and accepting the blame on me coming from you so you could justify your theft tells you right there. You know what you're doing isn't right. You know you don't want it done to you, but yet you still try to convince me that it's my fault. Doesn't work. Sorry. I can agree with you all day. Oh, yeah, you're right. That's me. What I'm doing right there is dismissing your existence because you have no relevance to my existence. Okay? We get to choose who we want to deal with on a time-to-time basis. But that fake it till you make it is some bullshit, guys. All right? I can't tell you how many interviews I have. Okay, even Cisco interviews, they are hardcore, man. All right, and I've had 3 of them, 1 hour straight, question after question after question after question. Okay, and if I can do good in those interviews, and I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. Those interviews, those separate 3 different contracts and interviews with Cisco, threw my confidence through the roof. Especially with quality of service. All right? The video training and the reading are important. All right? And I can't tell you how many people will complain, and it's so funny. They complain that I'm giving them too much information. And I also realize that if you're not doing something right, people aren't going to be bitching about you. And I'm not kidding. All right? I'm not kidding. Because you're doing something wonderful, that's why people are complaining. You grab their attention. Period. When you're good, you're good. All right? And I'm not saying I'm good. I'm just saying the bottom line is you get up and go to the bathroom on my videos, you're going to miss something. That's the way it was. I'm not saying that's the way it's going to be now because, like I said, I'm rusty. It's been a while. All right? Average video is where we're hitting now, and I'm about to close soon. It's 45 minutes long. All right? Even if I was running just a random lecture, this is one of those things where usually 45 minutes is where I'm kind of wrapping things up. All right, long video will be about hour 15 minutes. That's usually the average. All right, even now, like I said, I'm about to wrap up. I'm looking at the clock, and it's like 44 minutes and 11 seconds. So video training is like this. If you feel like I'm teaching, because I've had this argument again. Why are you teaching this? This is not necessary. Nobody needs to know how this works. Don't watch the video then. Go to the next one. I mean, it's simple. I guess I can't say common sense because apparently these people don't have that common sense or that sense of it being common to just go to the next video. All right? That's why video training is so important. Another thing is you can go back and back and back and back and back. Okay? All right? I watched so many videos hundreds of times. Okay? For one, I kept forgetting. And two, it was knowledge that was necessary. Okay? Now, this is just an intro video telling you guys that I'm back. I'm going to start creating more videos. We're going to start going from scratch. We're going to learn some cool stuff, and I hope the only thing that we're going to be missing is some of my old stuff. And I'm going to go find it, and I will clearly post the videos with a title, knowing that I'm letting you know that that it's an old video. All right? Yeah, I kind of lost my muscles. You can see my arms are kind of scrawny now, but yeah, can't make a muscle anymore. So anyway, because I was watching my muscles, moving back and forth, see them moving around, scratching. Nonetheless, guys, it feels good to be back. You're gonna see me more on LinkedIn more, because I'm not really someone who responds much. I'm not gonna do the Facebook thing, even though that was really cool. I'm just, guys, I just don't like Facebook. Period. I'd rather be on LinkedIn. Seriously. Facebook is just so much drama and just so much stuff that's completely irrelevant to my existence. Like I said before, I have, even like TikTok, guys, I don't understand the purpose of it. I don't understand. When I watch someone's always showing me something on TikTok, and I'm like, what is the point? All right, it's just not my thing. All right, I'm an IT guy. That's what I do, IT stuff. All right. Someone was talking about me one day. It was like, man, your house is messy, man. I was like, hey. I'm not a cleaner, guys. I don't clean. I fix things. You want something fixed? Then you come talk to me. You want me to organize something or clean it? Get out of here. I already paid someone to do it. You get my point? All right? I stick with who I am. This is part of my DNA. All right? And even back in 1994, when I first got into IT, I've been doing IT since 1994. I took a nice 10-year break to run my own HVAC company, but for real, I came back to IT because it's who I am. It's where I belong. All right, even though I didn't think that in the beginning, and even though I quit twice, going through my CCIE journey. Remember, it was a 10-year plan. Okay, two times I had quit. One of them was CCNP. I just knew I wasn't smart enough to know all this stuff. Because let me tell you, you think CCNA is bad. All right, because I tried to get CCNP done in 6 months, and it took double that. There was no way. Okay, OSPF was one of the things that was just like if I did not focus my energy on OSPF to really understand what the hell was going on, it's a large ass complicated protocol. All right. And the last thing I'm going to say is, if you're trying to learn everything about one subject, forget it. I had to make a decision. Okay. Either accept the fact that I'm at the CCIE level before I even took the exam, okay, and just do it, or postpone it even past 6 years so I can learn everything about everything that I was learning. It ain't going to happen. Okay? Guys, I'm even talking about something simple as ARP. All right? You start digging into that protocol, guys. It's endless knowledge. Any subject, there's nothing easy in this world, including growing grass. All right? You just want to sprinkle some, seeds on the ground and grow? It ain't that easy, guys. There's nothing on this planet. All right? And we learn that through science. Nothing is easy. All right? We have theories because we don't know. Theories become facts when it's proven over a period of time by the results we get from our experiments. Okay? From our hypothesis, and we create a conclusion. That conclusion could be wrong. You can be dead wrong because it's from our perspective. of the results that we see. And sometimes the results that we're seeing is misconstrued. That's why I started creating the intro saying, hey, everything that I talk about in this video is based on the knowledge I believe that I have that is correct at the moment in time. Okay? All right? It's that serious. All right? Now keep in mind, there's always a philosophy. Okay? And these are not just, I mean, it's not philosophy of just technology. It's life philosophy. Okay? We're going to go through all that too. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed about who I am and what I am. So, guys, I'm glad to be back. I hope all my previous followers will show up, and where we get out, that I'm back. So, c'est la vie, right? And make sure you guys have a good day. And that's all I got. See you later.